In 2012, 2K and Civilization developers Firaxis successfully managed to revive the Xcom franchise with Enemy Unknown, releasing 11 years after the previous Xcom games. Just a year later, The Bureau would release, 3 years after being announced as a reboot for the long-dormant franchise, and it sure is something. The game was developed by 2K Marin, developers of Bioshock 2, in partnership with the now defunct 2K Australia, the developers of Borderlands the pre-sequel. So I wonder why developers of such a great game would go under like that, but that's a video for another day. Bureau is first of two post-reboot XCOM games where someone looked at another game and said, let's do that. But whereas XCOM is a $20 Mechanicus, this was a $60 Mass Effect ripoff, to the point where they even got the voice actor for Garrus for one of the unimportant interchangeable companions. It isn't quite XCOM either. The group you work for is called XCOM. Their chopper is called the Sky Ranger. There's some tactical elements, and things show up in other games in DLC, like the Corruption in Enemy Within. But it doesn't feel like an XCOM game is supposed to feel. It doesn't have the tense tactical moments where squad mates' lives hang in the balance of a single roll of the dice, where a couple of hours of work can be thrown away in a matter of seconds, while by you angrily save-scumming the mission like the dishonest piece of shit you are. In the Bureau, it's more like, shit, engineer number 4 died. Better grab one of the 3 fully leveled backup characters I have. It just feels like there doesn't have the heart and soul. Like 2K just went, yeah mate, we're gonna finish the game, might as well release it. Yeah. For example, in terms of music, you only have one song that really fits the early levels of the game well. Lots of brass and drums benefiting the college homecoming setting of the level. However, it gets played in almost every combat section of the game. You'll be fighting on the Not Hoover Dam and it plays. It just feels so out of place. It's like, this also applies to the environments, from Norman Rockwell's 1960s style America to massive alien facilities. All the environments just feel generic. In fact, some of the side missions actually feel more unique than the main story missions. I'm not expecting, like Warhammer 40k, but I want something more than vaguely generic alien sci-fi. Enemy Unknown, the alien ships, except for the last one, all look like flying saucers, almost as if they were watching us for decades and decades, and we knew what they were going to look like from historical facts. Speaking of environments, I had a few glitches of areas not loading, but I'm willing to admit it's because my PC has the strength of a cheesy gordita crunch, and recording only exacerbated the problem. The generic feel even applies to the weapons. You start out with an M14 and an 1897 shotgun. 2 levers after that, you get your first alien gun. You then move on to more random side missions, and on the ground, story missions. They all kind of look the same, black and red donut steel kind of weapons. For the laser weapons and Enemy Unknown, you had some kind of prototype model that fit really well with what was going on. But in the Bureau, the weapons just look like they're kind of there. They just work for you and your squad mates. As for your squad mates, they just kind of exist. You have 2 or 3 that you always take on missions with you, but everyone else just kind of sits with their thumbs up their asses. We're going to go on the next side mission that gives you a piece of shit gear that you'll never use because, like them, most of the gear is worthless. The gameplay is some sort of mix between XCOM and Mass Effect, where there's cover, and you choose where your squad mates go and what abilities to use, but for the most part, it's a fairly basic third-person shooter where you shoot aliens. There is a melee ability, but I only used it on the aliens that died in one punch because I didn't want to waste the ammo. And the one thing the game really has going for it is the story. And even at the beginning, it's pretty generic until it turns into, I guess spoilers for an 8-year-old game, but if you care about that. You go from delivering a package to not Area 51 and having PTSD nightmares, to work out to hunt down an alien commander. The usual XCOM stuff before the mission of facing down the alien commander who has a secret base entrance is under the not Hoover Dam, where he reveals that you are being controlled by a being that was... where he was also being controlled by the same kind of creature that is also controlling you, that is actually you, the player. Aliens then attack the base, and Agent Carter forces you out of his body by being such a Chad. You then choose which minorly different ending you want and attack the alien base that's been above Earth the entire time. There's also something between sectoids and outsiders that literally go nowhere. They also manage to keep all of this secret, despite as you play the game, the map gets more and more infected. And the Hoover Dam is taken over by aliens, and there's an entire town with a giant alien spire in the middle that is just kind of quarantined off and not seen for miles. But, you know, nobody found out about this. It's just hush-hush until XCOM Enemy Unknown. Because this game is canon. It really is a roller coaster of a game that goes from 0 to 100 in a matter of minutes. Just goes from, haha, the 1960s glow-in-the-darks fighting aliens to, what in the fuck is going on? It really is the high point of an otherwise mediocre game. And that's all it is. It's a mediocre game. It's alright at everything. It excels at nothing. It is what it is. And what it is a game that got pushed out because it was already done, and Take-Two didn't want to throw all the money out they spent on it. With minor references in XCOM games to make it seem more relevant, but it is all but forgotten by devs and fans and will eventually fall to the wayside as another wacky XCOM spin-off. Join me next time as I make a 4-hour video essay on how XCOM aliens are actually an allegory for white people and the humans in the game are the Native Americans.